Oh, this hangout on the air is live? We got rid of
geez.
Matt. We got rid of Matt Roth and all those bullshit professional introductions. We're just going straight into Game of Thrones spoilers today. So, wow. How about the dragon sex? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. What's up, Gino? How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling well.
You're feeling well, or that was like a transition? Like
it was meant to be a transition, and I got kind of distracted. I was initially not going to do the show because I was delusional last night during Raw. I can't believe the Raw recap is kind of coherent. I didn't feel good at all, and the last time I sprung something on Sean, he cut a major promo on me in the inside offices. So I was like, I'll get out ahead of it. And this time, I won't just be like, hey, Kane, you're in. Sean, Kane's in, and then bail. But I woke up today feeling much better than I thought I would after getting a decent night's sleep. And so I'm here. I'm here to talk about wrestling.
He's a goddamn professional.
Yeah, that's right. We don't take sick days, okay?
Tough guy. Samoan tough guy. You want to talk about Ryback? Everybody wants us to talk about Ryback. You want to talk about Ryback? You want to change things up by talking about wrestling before we bullshit for 15 minutes?
I mean...
I should say...
It's weird. That's weird. I don't know how to act right now.
Dino has notes, so this
I have
is the
notes.
return of notes. If anybody remembers...
some notes.
Back in the old days when we would do this right after Raw or pay-per-views, Gino always had notes. And then
I took show-long notes, dude. Like, because what we would do was we would run through, like, it was very Observer Live-y type, you know, or Observer Radio type, where they run through, here's what happened, here's our reaction. But that's like kind of, you know, I mean, I get that you do that for like major radio, and there's a different way to go about it, but we're not major radio.
No, we're not real journalism.
We're not minor radio.
We're
two dudes.
We are doing some investigative journaling here, though, today. That's what I should have called this one. The investigative journaling edition. Damn!
Man, Ambrose sucks. Anyway. Yeah.
I'm glad everybody's finally coming around to my way of thinking on this.
Tell you what, my man.
What do you got on your notes there?
Well, you brought up Ryback. I mean, do you want to talk about Ryback? More like Ryback, am I right?
Fucking big guy. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. You talked about it in the cage side offices there a little bit. I guess, you know, the big guy sort of overestimated his own worth. I don't know what. Without knowing what the numbers are, I don't know. I mean, did Vince like fucking lowball him or
because they don't know what I said in the cage side offices.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Sean's not used to.
I'm trying to sell subscriptions to the cage side winning pre-show. You can't just give this shit away.
Well, we could. We can include up to 10 people. We should start doing that. What we'll do is we'll come on a half hour early, and then we'll invite 8 special people to get in here. It'll be mayhem, and then we'll kick all you fuckers out right before we go on the air.
It'll be like like minor league radio, where we'll say the 8th tweeter gets an invitation to the pre-show, and then
they'll get in here. And what'll happen is all of you will quickly realize we have no idea what we're talking about. We're both complete idiots. It'll be funny because they'll all get in, and then you'll come in 3 minutes before we're supposed to go on the air, like you usually do. I'll get here 5 minutes beforehand and complain that I don't understand what I'm looking at. And then we'll go right on the air. They'll all get kicked out. It's actually pretty lame.
There you go. You've all now virtually experienced the award-winning pre-show. Anyway, yeah, so explain your Ryback comments then.
So the situation...
It's a good pause.
The situation is such... Ryback is unhappy, apparently, with many things in his WWE career currently. The pre-show stopper, while cute, is quite clearly passive-aggressive in nature. Very Bill Handstock.
Wow, it is burying Bill off the top.
I hope you're listening, Handstock. Don't at me, bro. Did the CM Punk thing in Chicago, and apparently that was, it wasn't necessarily a shot. It was a shot at CM Punk, of course, but it was just, I don't give a shit anymore, basically, is where he's at. And he did the press where he admitted, I'm better than the pre-show at WrestleMania. This isn't okay. I'm not okay with it. Well, he's got a contract coming up in the summer. And they like to lock guys up way ahead of time. They're proactive that way, which is good for a major company. And they're trying to lock him up. Company. I love people who talk like that. They're trying to lock him up, and they made him an offer, and he doesn't think the offer they made him is what he's worth. And Vince, apparently, according to reports from Meltzer, The Observer, all that, Vince said, well, if you don't like the offer, you should probably just go home. And Ryback's like, know what I'm worth, and he went home. What I said in the Cage Side offices is, the whole know your worth thing, that only works for people who actually have a great deal of value. Dude, you've been working pre-shows for months. There was a period of time for like 3 weeks after WrestleMania. He wasn't even on television, and I'm talking not even SmackDown. They just picked up the Kalisto thing immediately after he did come back, and I don't think anyone even noticed he was gone. And now he's getting an off. I mean, Vince is probably thinking, you should just be glad I'm offering you a gig.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually offering to pay you. And I'm someone with the creative juice of me naming a cat, because I see the cat, and well, she's fat and she's a cat. She's Fat Cat. Ryback's like, well, I'm big and I'm a guy. I'm the big guy. And Vince is going to give him money, and he doesn't think it's enough money, and he took his ball and went home. And the new thing, apparently, is guys have contracts that are going to run out, and they're done, so they just send them home. King Barrett's done. His contract's not up yet, but he's not on TV because he's done. Same thing with Ryback now. What's funny about it is I think he does have value. I think he proved that. I think the problem is the booking. And I hate getting into that kind of stuff, but at the same time, he's an example of someone we saw actually pop a buy rate. It was years ago. Circumstances were different. That's the point. They control the circumstances. But there you go. He's gone, and I got to tell you, I was shocked, but probably shouldn't have been, at how many people on Twitter were quoting our tweet and going, see you, bye.
Yeah.
See you, pal. What are your What are your thoughts, Sean?
Like I said, I mean, I don't know. It all depends on what that offer is, because I'm with you. I mean, I think he's got some value. I think he's a mid-card piece to me. His run where they sort of pulled the trigger on it a little fast, I think, because of injuries, where they put him up against Punk for the belt, which started that whole drama. That was a testament to booking getting a guy over. I mean, he didn't lose, and we shit on it at first, but then we're like, oh, fuck, this guy doesn't lose, and he sort of has fun hamming it up out there, so we'll get behind him. And then he started to lose, and then we all were like, oh, this guy's a jabroni. So, I mean, that's what happens. I mean, wins and losses do create an impression. They're not the only thing.
They matter.
They do matter.
Despite what Road Dogg told us. They still call that man Road Dogg. He's like 55.
And Medusa wants to fight him, apparently, because she finally saw the show from 4 years ago.
She found a clip someone sent her a clip from an 8-year-old show. I'll kick his ass.
I hope she does go find Josh Matthews and kick his gravelly voiced ass, though. I had to watch TNA last week because Kyle Decker is having some problems. Actually, TNA's having problems. Kyle's not having problems.
I was going to say, Decker's like, they didn't send me the screener.
So I had to watch that stuff, which it's a perfectly fine wrestling program overall. But yeah, it's got two guys do it. They both do the same fucking voice. Pope and Matthews. Unbelievable. They just do that for 2 hours. It's unbelievable.
That's it.
It's a fucking Balrog and something else.
It's the South Park episode where they're simulating the sound the motorcycles make. where they're trying to repurpose the F word.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, where they're like, wait, no one's paying attention to us. I know how we can fix that. And then everyone looks like, yeah, we're so cool.
Oh shit! Yeah,
That's TNA commentary. It's
TNA commentary. What the fuck was I talking about? I don't know.
Ryback's going to end up there, so that's what's.
Oh, that's true.
It'll
Although
fit. He'll be out there going, feed me more, and
I think another thing we talked about in the office is some people on Twitter are saying, oh, he should go to New Japan and team with Mike Elgin, which I think would be great because all these people who hate him and are tweeting about how they don't like him would suddenly start to pop for him just because he was in New Japan, and some Japanese people thought he was cool because they love muscular white guys. So I like irony. So there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's worthwhile to WWE, and I think he will make money working TNA, New Japan.
Well, we don't know the specifics.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, but I think they're both probably right in that, Vince wants to keep him, but it doesn't want to break the bank for him, whatever that number is. And Ryback thinks, hey, I can go and not be on the pre-show all the time. I mean, he's not going to be on TV either, but like you said, he hasn't been on TV for 3 weeks. They threw him on one SmackDown match to build a feud to the next pre-show, and that's all he's been doing. So,
I mean, it could be as simple as a little bit goes a long way. So it's as you know, in our negotiations with you,
I drive a hard bargain.
What's acceptable and what's not, and this is the bottom line that would be acceptable to me to do what you're asking me to do. So if Ryback went in there and said the same thing, and Vince decided that's too much for me, I'm just not going to do that. I'd be better off just not having you here. It's just a cold business decision. There's nothing wrong with that, certainly. I don't think WWE's wrong for how they have handled this situation. I don't think Ryback's wrong.
No, exactly.
It's just, this is what happens sometimes.
And like you said, I just think he's sort of, I mean, whatever the number is, I mean, if I were to walk away from Cage Side, you'd be in a bit more of a hole because you don't have another Sean sitting right there. And I'm not saying that to put myself over. I'm just saying you don't have another guy who
You're right.
does as much as I do. WWE has 7 guys that do as much as Ryback does right there. They just called up 4 more that they don't know what to do with. So he doesn't really have any bargaining power to say, I'm out, because they're going to go, okay, Baron Corbin does it for a fraction of your price.
And and furthermore, he's coming at it from a position of he thinks he's worth much more in his mind than he's worth in Vince's mind. And how do you bridge that gap? Well, you came at it from a position of power. Of you don't have someone who could replace me, and I didn't. B, if I'm here full time, we're gonna kill it.
Yeah.
Well, we're 4 months into the experiment, or not experiment, I guess, but the whole the actually doing of it.
I see how
experiment.
I'm still in a fucking trial period. Yeah,
you're a science. We're ready to fire you at any moment.
I know.
But we've had record-breaking days. We just had a record-breaking month. Our traffic this year is better than it was last year. I mean, everything's up. The numbers are all up. So we're justifying. You have justified everything that has happened, and maybe even a little bit more. So I think I don't know that it would be smart if you were performing like he is. But then, that's a weird thing because so much of it is kind of based on the booking. But at the same time, it's kind of not. And that's a discussion that we're going to get into with a match that I'm getting a lot of heat from my take on. How much of it is how you're booked versus at the end of the day, pro wrestling, you're in front of a live crowd. You got to go out there and get over. The story is what the story is. But you take it back to the indie days, when you first start, you go out and people don't know the storyline. They don't know. They're going to go. They want to go see a wrestling show, and it's your job to go out and get them behind you or get them to hate you. You got to do one of those two things, depending on your alignment. Do you do that enough to affect things or to create a good show so that the fans will want to come back to make money for the company? They feel like that's not the case, or to enough of a degree that they don't want to budge off the number they're willing to offer him. I don't think that's unfair. So even booking aside, I don't think that's unfair. But we have seen that he can be booked well enough to change that, but they just don't want to do that because they just don't see that. So this is probably the best thing for everybody. Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Should we start then with the thing that got me heat?
Sure, let's do it. Let's dive right in.
So Becky versus Emma. Becky, who I love, not Becky with the good hair. I don't know what that means.
It's just a line from the song. There's a whole. Let's not go there.
Tanya, shout out to Tanya Rogers, our SmackDown reviewer, Actually told
The
Becky on
first
Twitter,
lady of cage side seats.
the first lady of cage side seat. Would Jolie get mad at that? I don't know.
Jolie doesn't. I have it on good information that Jolie's too busy like having a life to really follow wrestling.
Right on. Good for Jolie. I used to do a Total Divas podcast with her. She was awesome.
Yeah, that's my girl.
She actually told Becky on Twitter.
Jolie did?
No, Tanya.
Just kidding.
Tanya was like, Becky kept saying, it's Becky with the good hair. And Tanya's like, you realize this is not a fucking compliment, right? Stop saying this. You're a babyface. Like, so I don't even really know what it is, but Becky Lynch, who I love, has a match with Emma. And they go out there, it died. Boy, no one cared. There was a faint, let's go Becky chant for all of 8 seconds. It died. I mean, there was this, Becky's theme got a good pop, right? People were behind her when she came out. Emma comes out, no one really cares. They have the match. The match is fine. I mean, Emma was a little sloppy, I felt like, but the work was okay. You know, they did what they were trying to do, whatever. They do the smaz finish with the, well, not a smaz, but a thumb to the eye, you know.
Yeah,
the
heel cheats to win, yeah.
The heel cheated to win, and, you know, it was Becky's injured eye and all of this. Fine. You know, she got the win, and she talked some shit on the way out. Okay. They didn't get over. That part is, you can't argue that. So, and people are responding to me going, well, what the fuck, what are you talking about? There was Let's Go Becky chants. No, it's dead. It's an 8-minute match and it's dead for 7 minutes and 48 seconds. But for 12 seconds, there were 8 people who chanted Let's Go Becky. That doesn't mean it got over. That doesn't mean these two went out there and got the match over. The crowd didn't care. No one cared. They were sitting on their hands. They weren't cheering. You could even argue, I mean, it's the one comeback spot where she's trying to get the people involved. There were a few claps. It's not enough. You can't act like if they only care for 5% of the match, that the 95% doesn't matter. That's just not how wrestling works. Furthermore, you could literally insert any 2 people, and if you know you're supposed to cheer for the babyface, you could get those little small scattered smattering of "Let's go insert babyface" chant. I mean, I don't feel like that's entirely difficult in a situation like this, in a setting like this, with a company this big. So it's kind of weird to me that people are trying to tell me I'm wrong when I said they went out there, they didn't get over. And again, wrestling at its core is just 2 people go out in front of a crowd, get over. Get this over. And they did not do that. I don't think you can argue that they did. Now, I want to address real quick before I let you jump in the argument that, well, they haven't had enough TV time. They haven't told the story enough. You know, whatever. Look, you don't give TV time to acts that can't go out and get over. You don't. Don't tell me they need to go out there and just fucking stink the joint out, but do so while getting a story, and then they'll be over. Also, that argument doesn't hold water because Becky's an established character. So's Emma. Becky's been around for a long while, just coming out of a program for the Women's Championship. Had a major match at WrestleMania. She's a big-time babyface in the women's division. You know, tell me she hasn't had storylines? Bullshit. She was involved in the biggest storyline, one of the best storylines of the past 3 years, as a matter of fact. So if she's out there working a match and it isn't getting over, it's just what it is. You can't blame it on not having a good story. That's not a thing that you can blame something like this on. Yes, it matters as far as entertainment goes. Yes, it matters as far as, you know, the Roman Reigns, AJ Styles stuff's fantastic. Loving the story that they've got going on right now. However, Roman Reigns could walk out there, sit in the middle of the ring, and just not move a muscle, and that crowd will fucking go insane for it. You know why? He's over. That guy is over as hell. These two didn't do that. Nothing they did in this match got the crowd involved at all. At one point, Emma turned to the crowd and said, "It's about me." And it looked like they might muster up the energy to care, and then no one did. Because, yeah, I don't care about you. And you say, well, she doesn't have enough time to make people care. Here's your shot. This is your chance. They're getting that time right now, and she's not actively making them care. That's my argument that I'm making here. Feel free to, because you said we might fight about this because you're on the other side.
I don't agree with. I mean, they didn't get. It was, first of all, it wasn't 8 minutes. There's no way that was 8 minutes.
It was not a short match.
It was a short match. They got like 4 minutes, dude.
Let me go look. You keep
and
talking.
It was after, and then we had already had a half an hour of fucking 8-man tag action. I mean, that's First of all, I mean, I don't think you can compare them to Roman Reigns because that's not fucking apples to apples. You can't say
5.5.
if Roman. That's not 8. If Roman doesn't, I mean, that's not a long match, dude. That was it. The shortest match on the show, or was that
not even close? Not even close.
Was that the Breeze Fandango? What was shorter?
That one, Breeze Fandango.
That was the only one, so that's not even close.
I could look again. I'd have to look again, but keep going.
Well, I just don't. I mean, everything else got a tremendous amount of time again.
That's not okay, but that was it's not normal. The norm. I mean,
if Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns had been jobbed out to the champion in a 3-minute match, or to the number one contender to the champion in a 3-minute match, after having been sent back down to NXT because he was paired with Santino in a comedy bit, and if he could still, after all of that stuff, if he could come out and sit in the ring and get a reaction, I would be surprised. He might get more of a reaction than Emma because he's a big Samoan tough guy, but he's not going to he doesn't get the reaction he gets today because what you're saying, he could sit in the middle of the ring and do nothing, and that's not the same thing at all. I mean,
he could do that today, but he could do that today because they did develop him to this point, right?
Right.
At the start, it wouldn't have been that
matters. So the storytelling and the booking matters.
Hang on. At the start of it all. He didn't for Becky or even for Emma, if we're going to act like NXT is canon and we're going to act like NXT is a part of things, and they do.
But a lot of people don't watch it, and we know that.
It would be no. Okay, storyline. No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. As far as this stuff goes, getting in front of a crowd, fuck no. Story doesn't matter at all. We know that. This is WWE. If story mattered, Shane McMahon wouldn't be over. That whole thing, no one would care about that.
But Shane McMahon has 20 years of history as a character. If Shane McMahon, white dude, in Jordans walks out, he doesn't get that pop, dude.
Okay, but you have to look at the way as a character.
And the history of both of these characters, especially Emma, who you're calling out as getting no reaction, is a fucking joke. But it's a joke. But she's not just some new face we've never seen before. She's somebody that WWE has told us in numerous ways does not matter. And you're talking about a crowd at 3.5 hours into a 5-hour show didn't pop for a 4-minute match. That's an indictment on their talent as performers. That's horseshit.
Okay, I think it is an indictment on their talent as performers because that's your job. That is your baseline job, and But everybody's job. Everybody has managers who are supposed to support them in doing a better job. You can't just say. Was it Paul Heyman who said that? Who said like or maybe it was Austin or whatever, and they liked the way things were done as far as like going to new towns. Like they didn't ever like or maybe it was the territory days where it was good. You could switch from territory to territory or whatever, and then because you get in front of a new crowd, and you have to get your act over in front of that new crowd. That's more or less what I'm referring to.
But this isn't a new crowd. That is not a valid comparison either. Because in that discussion, whether
then that's even more of an indictment against them.
No, it's not, because if you go to that new town, you're a new face with no baggage. Those people, this is not the internet era. They didn't watch, Smoky Mountain Wrestling if they were going to WCCW. Nobody knew that. Maybe a few people picked up, an After Mag and knew something was going on, but they didn't know, this person was a fucking comedy jobber who disappeared for 6 months and then got brought back and now loses. That's different. That context matters.
That's a good point. We are in the internet era. So they have built a storyline. Yes, it's through Twitter. Yes, it's through stories like on sites like ours who will pick that stuff up. Yes, it's through Raw Fallout videos. Yes, which are still getting 300,000 viewers, which is not insignificant. Let's be real about that. They have built a story. They have a story going on. So they have that. They go on TV to do the match, and no one cared about it. So to me, it just feels like I'll say this. We probably need to meet in the middle because
I'm not saying you're flat out wrong. I'm not saying they did a great job, but I don't think it's all on them. They have not been helped in almost any way by WWE. They weren't helped by the booking of this match. Becky has been on TV and Cole's sitting there talking about how she's been out with an eye injury. She's worked since then. We've seen it. She was in Europe. They're telling a completely contradictory story, which doesn't help. It just doesn't help.
And we have a tendency, and I know I do this way too much, where I make comparisons to the very biggest. I can't compare these people to Roman Reigns. They're not, the same way you can't compare, the Charlotte Hornets to the, Golden State Warriors. Right. It's ridiculous. So I get that, but it's just if they're, you say, well, they not enough of a story. Well, they did tell a story, and then they go out and do the match, and perhaps it's a little bit on WWE for not doing enough for them and giving them enough support. At the same time, there's a give and take there, where it's who do you choose to give the support to? Do you choose to give the support to the people who you send out and they're over, or the people who go out and it's still a situation where you're
but based on, you brought up Becky's championship run. You don't think she was over at that point?
I think she was hugely over.
Okay, so then what I mean. And then they cooled her off by having her disappear from television, booking her the way they did in the Triple Threat. That's all the booking. She got over, and then they cooled her off.
That's true to an extent, but that's what I mean about the performer themselves. Like,
but
the performer themselves has to overcome that. You're talking about this like it's an indie show, like they're working PWG every month. No, I'm saying
there's an ongoing continuity here, and we do pick on. It's just like with the wins and losses thing. We pick up on the people that WWE says, this is not the guy.
Did they say that though?
That with Ambrose. When you take somebody off of TV for a long time after they were the number one contender, and then you bring them back for a 4-minute match, I think that's what you're saying.
She actually did have an eye problem.
Right, but she worked through it. But
at least they bothered. So we would have given them shit if she disappeared and they didn't say anything. And she did have a legitimate eye injury. So we go, okay, so she actually, they bothered to explain that. We would have given them shit if they hadn't done that. And maybe it's a little contradictory.
I don't know, but that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that
I'm saying I don't know that it's so much of a cool off. I guess technically it is.
Booking to WrestleMania, the way she was booked leading up to WrestleMania, where that feud, you were a fan of that? That helped her get over?
No.
We talked about it on the show, how they hurt all three of them.
What they did with the Sasha stuff was really bad.
And Sasha has also disappeared from television, so when she comes back out, and she will probably be over than more either.
But what does that say?
More than either of these women. It says that they don't value women's wrestling, and that for the last 10 years they've been telling us not to, and they continue. It does. They don't.
That's certainly fair.
That's
certainly a part of it too, and I probably could have done.
If these were guys, I would be more on board with you too. WWE has to, they have to course correct in a way to overload us on the fact they have to convince us that they care about women's wrestling, not just lip service. The new belt and go on the Today Show and then do what they've done. And that's what and so people who either were on the fence about whether or not it was important have gone back to saying, it's not important. People who, like us, who got excited about, it's going to be a change. For the second time in a year, we've gotten excited about, they're going to do it differently. No, they're not. Nope. And so everybody's just like, well, fuck this. And I don't know, you would have to be the female version of the Rock and Stone Cold to go out there in 4 minutes after all of that and get people fired up.
That's not unfair. And by the way, the same thing applies to the men. They go out there and get over. And if you can't, then okay, you couldn't. Then they're not.
I don't disagree. Yeah, you're right. That is part of the job. You're right. But I'm just, like I said, we're in the middle because that is part of the job. I'm not denying that. But a good manager, a good promoter would help you do that job and not.
I would argue.
It has to be neutral towards it. And I would argue with Becky and Emma have actually hurt their ability to do that.
I would argue that what they did with them was it was very they didn't necessarily build the feud on TV nearly as much as they could have. They did some segments. They did an interview on SmackDown, which I thought was good. I think they did another interview at one point. There's been interaction. They're building social. They're doing all these things to change the game of how we digest their product. So it's not all on television. So it doesn't need to all be on television. And we'll applaud that in certain instances, and then others will condemn it, which is kind of strange. But in this case, I don't feel like we should be condemning it because it's been entertaining in that way. Well, then they get on and they have a match. It's not like the creative is bad. The idea behind it was sound. It's really not all that different than anything they would have done with the men. You go out, they only got 5.5 minutes, but it's a Raw show, and that's not out of line for what sometimes the men get. They've been seemingly doing a concerted effort to have longer matches on Raw lately, but let's not pretend like it wasn't always that.
No, but in the last month,
the men
have gotten a significant amount of time, and the women have remained where they were.
Yeah, so I have no defense for giving time to the Goldust, Truth, Breeze, Fandango stuff.
And there are people who love that program.
That's the better argument to say, to go storyline, because I think it's the same basic concept. Here's the thing, go get over. And if you can't get it over, you go, well, okay, yeah, I think part of that is on the performers because Truth is still entertaining me. But like a guy like Fandango, I don't give a shit what he's doing. Even a guy like Breeze, I mean, there's stuff about him that's entertaining, but I think he needs more story. And I think it just changes the level of performer that you are. Like, again, I'm going to do the Austin thing, but Austin was playing a fucking ukulele and singing to Vince, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. Roman Reigns, everything he does, it makes you feel some sort of certain way. Eva Marie makes me feel some sort of certain way. A lot of these people go out there, you're not making me feel anything. And there's a part of that where it's the Brock thing. Brock walks into a room, and I want to be near him. I don't feel that way with some of these people, so you need to make up for that. You need to do something to make up for that. And you're not doing that. And I didn't feel like they did that. And I didn't feel like the creative was bad. The creative was bad with the not Stardust, but the Gold Dust and
but I do think that there is something. While I agree with you that it's the internet age and they've used the tool. To me, that's what they're trying to do. They've said, okay, we're not going to get time on TV, so we're going to try to build this on YouTube, on Twitter.
Sure.
But Gold Dust and R-Truth have gotten a fucking shitload of TV time.
Yeah.
For how long now? 6 months?
No
could any women's feud get a fraction of that, please? And then we could have an apples to apples conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, they have gotten and I still don't even know what the point of it is. Is the point, if the point really is to try to get Fandango and Tyler Breeze over as a tag team, then fine. But I'm not sure that's the point. I don't know that there is a point. I think they think that Truth and Gold Dust are wacky fun together, so they're going to keep doing this until Vince doesn't laugh at it anymore.
I lost track of the point like 3 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the point was to get Gold Dust and R-Truth to be a tag team, and that apparently is not the point, I think. I don't know.
I think it's just to do wacky shit. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think this pops Vince.
R-Truth went out there with an actual, so Breeze has a selfie stick. Truth had an actual stick and duct tape wrapped around his phone to keep it to the end of the stick. And I think they think that's funny, and maybe it is funny. I didn't even really notice it at first. I had to see it on Twitter, where I was following the Becky Emma feud.
That's why you're the general. He brought it all back around.
Bam. Yeah, I mean, so that's, I think, an example of bad creative. And you're right. There's no excuse to continue giving time to something that very clearly is not getting over. That died a far worse death than Becky Emma did. I mean, there was crickets. No one said a damn word. They just sat there and were like, please let them. Like, Goldust could be heard. They didn't even mic the ring, and we could hear everything Goldust was saying. I think under his breath at one point, he talked about maybe he left the oven on at home. Like, it was awful. And there's no excuse for that. But I don't think, again, I stick to what I said about Becky and Emma. I don't think you can lean too heavily on they need a better creative.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting it. I mean, it's just, it would have been interesting to see what Becky and Emma could do if they got a little pre-match skit backstage the way Golden Truth did. I mean, that would be, I just don't, my point, I guess, really is that we are in the middle. I just don't think I don't think there's a good comparison for the women because they treat the women so differently, and
that's true.
No exception.
And so. that's fair too. It's worth noting that.
All right, what else do we want? What else is on your notes?
What else is on my notes? I already lost my notes.
Because people get upset when we fight, so I don't want to make the whole show about.
We're not even fighting. I thought that was a good
people yesterday were saying the show got all dark because Roth was on, and we just talked about this, a fictional.
You know what, man?
Show.
Here's what I'll say. Fuck you guys.
Are you gonna bury the listeners? We made it 35 minutes without burying the listeners, everybody.
No, I feel like that was a healthy debate. I conceded.
I agree. Yeah.
No,
I just don't. I think we both convinced ourselves a little bit, and we're not going to convince each other the rest of the way. So
but
time to move on.
I hold my, what's that saying? It's a great saying. I hold my beliefs close to me, but not so close that I'm not willing to change them.
Yep.
Like, I don't believe in God, but if I see compelling enough evidence to the contrary, I'll fucking flip immediately. And that's not a bad thing. If you give me the evidence, I'll turn to your side. I'm like a trial lawyer that way. I have no idea what a trial lawyer is. I feel like I'm not even saying that word right.
I think that's where you're not sure if you want to be a lawyer yet, so you try it for a while. Isn't that what it is?
Yeah. No, I'm a bench lawyer. I ride the pine. Becky Lynch, you like that? Pun style.
No,
here's where I go hyperbole. That wasn't a pun. Here's where I go full hyperbole.
Okay.
If I was booking the territory, Booking New York. I'd put the world title on Big Cass. I'm dead serious, dude. I thought, man. So I kind of glossed over it just to completely fillet Big Cass in the recap. But that segment with the tag team segment, that was phenomenal.
The build to it was great, yeah, and
the scripting was really good.
And Cass's hot tag was awesome. That's other than that, I felt like it was too long, but yeah,
it was a little long, but everyone had really good lines. I don't need, the New Day are fun.
What do you think about? I mean, what do you think about the villains at this point? Because I think they're doing pretty well with this.
We'll get to them in a second, but okay. I do want to ask you.
All right.
Have you slid up into Xavier Woods' DMs yet?
I did, and I noticed that he didn't talk about what he and I were talking about in his DMs. So.
Right, because they are open. His DMs are open, and they are lit, baby.
I love Kofi Kingston so much I can't even describe it because his going back to, we didn't talk about it yesterday, but going back to Big E's Instagram with the bootios on the booty, my favorite thing is just Dad Kofi over there going, I mean, that look, it's even better than Creepy E's look.
Because I believe Kofi's the only one of the three who's married. He just had a child. So he's like, I better not react too much to bootios on the booty.
But his non-reaction tells you everything.
And then they took a photo with Cass after the show, and Cass is like pointing to him like they're all buddy-buddy, and Big E's all into it, and Xavier's all into it, and Kofi's like side-eyeing Big Cass, like, fuck is this big motherfucker doing here?
He's my man.
So the scripting was really good. The Vaudevillains still can't get over. They're not over, right?
Yeah.
No one's reacting, dude. The music comes on and
the music is horrible. The music is 99% of the problem.
You know what you're doing? When you do the thing where you're like, it's the music, that's saying the yes chant is what's over and not Daniel Bryan. Don't do that.
I'm just saying it doesn't help. It's the same argument. I'm just saying it doesn't help. I'm not saying that the villains are going out there and killing it. I thought they did get a little bit of a reaction last night. I'd have to go back and watch it. But
I think
the singing is a good heel move because you will want to kill him the way you want to kill like Miz.
I'm getting Jillian out of it. Remember
is he going to start having like a thing on his face that the Boogeyman eventually eats?
That fucking thing off. What an awful fucking program this used
to
be. Used to be, air quote, that shit.
Exactly, yeah. It's so much better now.
It's way better with these. They get 5.5 minutes.
I will say I think the villains is a good example to me of where the booking is actually trying to help them. They're letting them talk.
Scripting too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way they've been. Everything except their music has been helpful to them, and I applaud the fucking throwback to the territory days of letting Gotch claim that he knocked Enzo out. That is fucking awesome.
And I credit to whoever wrote it. A real man would have got back up.
And I also thought "Realest Guys in the Emergency Room" was a good line. I like that a lot.
Fantastic line.
See, and if they can't get over with that, then I'll be over. I mean, they're getting helped,
and they're not. I didn't think they did it.
We'll see.
When they said it, it was It's like, oh hey, Enzo, how are you doing? And he's a shithead. That's a total shithead thing. And with that shit-eating grin, that's really good. I still don't feel like it got over. I just don't think it's going to happen for him. And and not because it's. People could argue there's a confirmation bias where I'm always convinced that they can't get over, so I'm just going to ride that until it's so obvious I can't,
right.
But I don't even think it's that so much. I just think you just listen. Cass came out and they fucking blew the roof off. Like, they love that, dude. They love that team.
Well, I mean, the injury is actually very helpful to them, I think, too. I mean, they have now a real, I think they have a real world babyface reason. I mean, that they didn't necessarily have before. Now they're like, oh, we were all concerned for him, and we're sort of pulling for Cass while his friend is hurt.
No,
I think it works.
Enzo's fucked. Vince watched this segment. He had the same thought I did. We're putting the world title on.
Oh, well, I mean,
he's big, he's tall, he's charismatic. I thought his promo was great. People talking shit about how he is on the mic. I thought he was fantastic here.
I think I still like him better as a foil to Enzo, and I think I don't know what Enzo's ceiling is as a wrestler anyway. So maybe, and if he has concussion problems, maybe he just becomes Cass's manager.
That would work out really well. He's too good on the mic not to use. He was actually
exactly.
at the show.
Yeah, backstage. Yeah,
but they didn't use him. But no, dude, I was so impressed with Cass. He comes out and he cuts it. I thought it was a good promo. I mean, it wasn't greatest, I guess, but the stuttering for the Dudleys was really fun.
Yeah.
It's going to spell it out for you. That shit's always fun. That's always going to be good. I don't want to hear people complain it's repetitive. That's the business we're in.
I was thinking about that. Fucking, right before he comes out with part where he did the tail end of the repetitive spiel, the fucking New Day's intro hits, which is the same thing every goddamn time, and people go apeshit for it.
Yep.
So.
Well, and CM Punk had a good response to it. People go, well, you do the same moves over, the 5 moves of doom. And he goes, they're over.
Yeah.
You think of this. How many people bought a ticket to come to the show because they wanted to see that? I bought a ticket so I could see him do those moves. Yep. And when I don't do those moves, they don't feel like they got their money's worth. Maybe they don't want to come back. So there's a balance they have to strike. And when you have some shit that's so over the entire every single person in the audience is saying it along with you, you don't not say that because some fucking geek on Cage Side comments is like, it's getting repetitive. I think they're saying it too much. Yep. You're over it. I get to see the smirk on your face. You're just like, man, I'm tired of these fucking guys, man.
I mean, I just right now I'm at a point, just me personally, sort of in the job. I feel like the WrestleMania hangover didn't hit me until like last week. Like I was still riding on a high from that, and then last week I was like, holy shit, I've been spending like 12 hours a day awake thinking about wrestling, and I'm kind of tired of it. And yet. So it's just everybody, the arguing about it, and I don't know. That was really just me popping for that voice. I haven't heard it in a couple weeks, so I'm always happy to hear the not as good as Brooklyn voice return.
Yeah,
even though it's a repetitive gimmick.
It's repetitive. It's a mark that down for using it again.
It's about Gino trying to get his shit in.
Just really trying to get my shit over. You know what? I get it over though.
Yeah, you do.
Shout out to Swift, who said, Andrew Swift. Mm-hmm. Who said, I got the FinWatch thing over. He said, it's crazy.
The Secretary of State of Cage Side. I don't know. I'm just trying to give everybody titles now. So
you didn't consult with me.
I didn't get that over, so sorry.
And you didn't consult with me, so that's not happening.
Mm.
Nobody said it's remarkable how much stuff Gino manages to get over. And I appreciate that. Because I'm a star. And I expect all of you to recognize this.
Which is also, going back to our earlier discussion where Gino was like, last night, he's like, man, I feel like shit. Can you get somebody else to do Cage Side Live? I was like, I think, no disrespect to my boy Kane, who I love, but I think our numbers proved the people don't want Gino-less Cage Side.
Sans Gino, this show sucks.
It just dropped. I think it's an okay show, personally, but the numbers just...
I liked it. Well, the problem with Kane is... He comes on and he I'm not unsure he didn't do a shitload of meth before going on the air. Because he gets on and he's like, you ready to talk about Raw, Sean? All right, let's talk about Raw. What I really felt like was Roman Reigns was a really good job on AJ Styles' Bullet Club. You need to slow your fucking roll, Kane. You really do.
Maybe it's because I do so much meth, I don't even notice it.
That's my constructive criticism. That's how I treat people in the Cage Side offices.
So if you feel like Gino shits on you, the listener, don't worry. He shits on all of us just the same way.
You've been fired
poor fucking Decker. I don't even know why that guy still does anything.
God.
He just shows up in the office and Gino just like...
I don't even want to hear his name on this show. His name does not belong on this show.
What else is in your notes?
That was literally it. Big Cass
It was one of my notes, like the squirrels and the cheese, wasn't it? It was just doodles.
Put the world title on Big Cass is basically
it. Had some stars around it. It was so cool.
Yeah, little stars, a little heart. Do you like me? Yes or no? Circle 1. And then circle or just to fuck my world up.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, he's gonna get a push. Yeah.
He's the greatest of all time, is what I'm thinking. He came in on the hot tag. I was feeling very. I just like him, dude.
I said it on Twitter last night. He's got whoever named his moves. Like if he named his own moves, he should get to name everybody's moves. Because I think Empire Elbow is dope as fuck. East River Crossing is the greatest move name I've ever heard.
That's really great.
So let Cass be in charge.
I don't know why that's great either.
I don't know either, but it's a cool. All of his like swinging slams look good because he's tall as fuck.
And he moves well for being a big guy.
Yep.
And he hits the ropes like a big guy, which, as many of you know, is my favorite thing in the world. Big guys running the ropes is the fucking greatest thing that's ever happened in wrestling history. And he hits the ropes like Earthquake. He kind of just dives into him and then lets him catapult him. Oh my God. Earthquake was the greatest ever. Cass is coming up on his heels, though.
I need some gifs of that.
I'll tell you what, there are gifs of it. I think I put them up. I think I was doing the Rumble stuff, and I made Handstock make me a gif of Earthquake just dying.
I remember that, yeah.
I did a whole post of it, dude. I was like, hey, here's a gif from 1990 of Earthquake running the ropes. Just get a load of this glory. Drink it in, ladies. Look at that piece of man meat. Just like you can almost hear him as he falls into the ropes, like it's gonna catapult him forward. And he's like, when is this match over? I just want to fucking. Oh man! And then fucking Hogan does the Hulk up, and he's actually got to get back up to one knee. Oh, this shit again! Just pin me. Just do the fucking leg gimmick and pin me. Oh, Earthquake.
Poor Hulk.
So yeah, put the belt on Big Cass.
Of course. Yeah. Long story short.
The literal greatest of all time. Nothing else. This show sucked otherwise. I mean that. This was bad. Oh, they paid off the Flair stuff.
Oh yeah.
Motherfuckers. So I can't complain too much.
Yeah.
But you motherfuckers, man, we've been waiting for so long.
Do you think they were real? I mean, do you think this was always the plan, or do you think this is part punishment for I got drunk in the airport and fell down and had the police come? Because Stephanie's promo to me, I don't know. I cover this shit, so I think about it too much. But listening to her promo about how he was a distraction and he was embarrassing his daughter, I just couldn't get it out of my head.
Oh man,
that was like, because you know how they love to do that. I mean, make the rundown an angle. So I couldn't get it out of my head when she was saying her little speech.
You know what? I didn't think that, and now that you've said that, I can't think anything else.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I think the plan was we've talked about this before. I think the plan always has been that they were going to pay that story off, but I feel like they might have fast forwarded it here.
Think it was a write-off?
I mean, it sounded. I mean, she was like. I mean, he was not allowed to talk in that promo. He just made faces. I think she said something to him about needing some time off. I have to go back and watch
the taste out of his mouth.
What?
She fucking drilled that dude, and it was so satisfying. Just a deeply satisfying slap. Like she slapped him and he just, I thought he was going to, did he do the flare flop? No, he didn't, because she got him down and did the sharpshooter. I was really pissed about that. I actually got mad at the time for that. He was getting ready to flare flop, which he could totally do. He'd be fine. He's got that little belly rocking. He'd be good to go. I ain't hating him for it. That's great, dude. Enjoy your life, my man. He's like, what, 80 now? Fuck, dude. I don't really even.
I don't think he's quite 80.
He's like 67, but I don't really even care that he's getting drunk as shit in airports and falling all over himself. Cool. Like, I don't think we should care about that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's not cool. I mean, I hope he doesn't die. It's not healthy, but
okay.
Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, no. As far as I agree. It's not our. That's a family issue they need to fucking deal with. Man. Yeah, exactly.
Do you want? You want to get fucking hammered and listen to Leonard Skinner and fucking fall down into chairs at airports? Cool, man. Do your thing. Like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I'm not judging him. I hope he doesn't die.
If you're a friend of his and you're worried about him, like, Bret Hart said he was worried about him. I understand that too. But I'm not a friend of his. I don't know him. Obviously there's a human element. I'm, compassionate to anybody who might have a problem. But do your thing. Maybe it was a write-off. I feel like, man, I wish they'd save this for someone who's actually going to take the title.
Yeah, that's why I think maybe that's why it strikes me as this seems to me like this is the culmination of a big angle that we've all felt was coming. Like she's, I don't know. I mean, I think Charlotte's doing good work as a heel, so I don't want to see her turn back to being a face again. But I think I guess she's going to prove she can stand without her father and beat Natty now. And that'll make her even stronger when somebody beats her for the next big feud, I guess, is the thinking. Because, they're not going to put the belt on Natty. So
Yeah. I like how everyone thinks it'll be Sasha.
Yeah, I don't know that it will. I mean,
No, it won't. It's clearly going to be Alicia Fox.
Foxy, if you're nasty.
Tamina is creeping on a come up. Wait, that's not the right term.
I don't know what that even means.
No, that's an old Bone Thugs term, and I don't think
I know, but I don't know what it means. I don't think it means what you just used it like.
Look, I've gotten in a lot of trouble for using terms like lit fam, slay, yes queen. What else did I say? Obvi, squad goals.
You got in trouble for Obvi?
Dude, I get in trouble for everything.
Oh, well.
I speak and people bitch, and I just.
You got in trouble for spoiling Game of Thrones.
I don't even know if that's true. Is what's funny. I don't watch the show.
Oh.
So if it's true,
well, I don't see how you could. Yeah, that's true. It might not be true, but yeah, it was also all over the internet. So I don't see how you could be blamed for spoiling it. If you went on Twitter yesterday, you kind of knew what happened. So.
Also, like, it's a full day after the show aired. You know, go fuck yourself.
I think it's hilarious. I heard a discussion. I think it might have been on fucking like NPR about how like there's supposedly like a 48-hour rule so you can let people like watch it on their DVRs and stuff.
Eat it, dick.
Jesus Christ! What a fucking white person problem, first world problem that is.
That's exactly what.
Don't spoil. You can't talk about my shows for 48 hours.
Dude, do you remember that? He got into an argument with Bix, and Roth was just burying the dude because there was some guy. This is like 6 months after the fucking Star Wars movie came out. Some dude put on the fucking back of it, Han Solo dies at the end of Star Wars on his truck. He's driving around out in the world. That guy's a goddamn hero, dude. That dude is a legend. And Roth put it on Twitter, and Bix fucking snapped it. I haven't seen it yet. How dare you? It's like 6 months, dude. Are you serious? Yeah, but I've been waiting for it to come out on home video. Like, go outside. Like, that yard that you see out there, go play in it.
Jesus. I just don't like that Will Ospreay. What else?
I'm telling you what, Will Ospreay.
What else you want to talk about? I know you don't want to talk about wrestling. So,
wrestling what?
Nothing.
Does that have Machine Gunka?
It's where Machine Gunka used to live. So,
all those Japan results, man, crazy, wild stuff. That was crazy.
Yep, you were getting a good night's sleep.
I wasn't pleased, but I was enthused.
It hasn't been 48 hours yet, though, so don't spoil it.
Yeah, better not spoil those. All
right, we like the main event. So here's let me tell you my problem with the main event angle.
Tell me your problem with the main event, because I
only have one problem. I love it. It's fantastic.
Let's hear it.
There is a 0.0 chance that AJ Styles wins. So I'm not. So as much as I am enjoying, I love the dynamics of the story and I love it. I love it. Very best story they've done in a long time. But I wish there was an ounce of a chance that AJ might win, and then I would be more invested. And maybe they'll surprise me, but I don't think so.
Not an unfair criticism. Here's the thing about Roman Reigns.
He's the greatest thing since Colin Cassidy.
He should never lose the world title because because he's not a bad guy.
At least he stopped saying that.
I know, right? He stopped saying it, but there's a shitload of people who keep saying it on Cage Side.
True.
And every time I see it, I'm
buy a shirt.
Yeah, that's every time I see it, I'm like, well, you shut the fuck up. And then here I am on Cage Side going, not a bad guy. Not a good guy. So
that's my new favorite voice. Whatever that was.
Do that again, dude.
I can't. I don't know if I can.
We should do the whole show where we just talk in different voices.
I would do it. Yep, let's do it.
I would totally do it. I'll go. Hang on.
I'm already starting to cry.
Oh man, I was just gonna do Rome, and then.
Fuck! Don't do that. We'll never. I'll just have to shut the feed down right now. I can't even handle it.
talking about Raw. The Bullet Club. AJ.
Oh dear.
It's clear they're building Roman Reigns, Big Cass. That match is going to make a lot of money. So much jack. I'm talking a lot of cur. Will it be a good match? Probably not. Probably won't be. I'm going to watch it. Sean, don't spit out that water. Sean took a drink of water and he's trying his best not to spit it out.
I did it. I made it.
Oh, man.
My stomach hurts a little bit.
Gino Rome.
Oh, man.
All right, what else was there? So no, that's your criticism.
That's my only criticism. I love it.
Not a bad criticism.
I really enjoy it. I would.
It's a good story though.
Because I think, that to me, the proof for Roman getting over for me personally, just as this one viewer, is that I want to see him get his ass beat now, and I don't think that's going to happen. So he's going to get beat up a bunch, but I don't think he's going to lose, and that's a bummer. Because I do think they're painting AJ as like a true blue baby face, like he's trying to not get his boys. He's trying to get his boys. He's trying to be a good friend, but also be a good competitor. And the fact that they haven't like overtly turned him yet is interesting to me. And
I like the layer that they've had to it. Where I don't know if you read my recap where I talked about this segment, but nope, sure.
I tried to read it. It was just sort of the delirious ramblings of a sick man, and I stopped.
Yeah, I slept 1 hour in fucking 3 days. No, but I really like the layers to it of, they're essentially it's AJ is trying to do the right thing, trying to be a righteous man, and everything that happens to him shows him that that's the wrong way to go to achieve the goal he wants to achieve. That's a good way of life. Or that's a good, what's the word I'm looking for? A metaphor for life, I guess, or it's a good lesson.
It's a good dramatic conflict too.
Yeah. It's and so they've been helping him before, and he's been he could accept it without accepting it, so to speak, right? Like he could, they jumped dude and bailed on the ring, and AJ got back in, and he is reaping the benefits of what they had done, but he can't just stop the match. So they had actually built to this spot here in this show where they actually held him up and gave him a chair and said, do it. Put him fucking down. This is what we need to do to get where we need to go. And AJ, they forced him to make a decision. To me, that's a great dramatic little thing that happened right there. And it was, what's he going to do? He decides not to. And then I thought it was really good booking because, again, they immediately made him pay for making that decision. He made the right decision. Then the Usos fucking show up and start fucking laying waste, whatever. He ends up having to fucking... He's provoked.
Yep.
A provoked man responds to this aggression that will not stand man. And Reigns sees this, and Reigns is not wrong. I've seen people say, well, he's a fucking heel. No, he's not. If I see someone taking a chair to my brother's back, you're going to get hit. It's just, I'm not going to stand for that. I don't care if he hit you first. I can't stand for it, right? That's not wrong. So he does that, and again, AJ's made to pay. He keeps making the right decision, but he keeps being tested. It continues. That's the kind of thing that's so fascinating to me because that's what either makes you a hero or makes you a villain. This is the kind of stuff that makes that. These situations and how you continue to respond to those situations. And it's very human of us to be in a situation like that, to go, I will not change my value despite everything going on around me. I will stay the course. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. And it's a decision you make every day, right? You have the part of you that can cut the corner, the part of you, psychologists call it the shadow self, where you're a shitty guy who will take your heel, essentially. You're a bad guy who you'll fucking snap at any moment. Every human being is capable of this. You've been in arguments before. You've let your anger and frustration get the best of you before. You've done things you regret. Every human being has done that because that's who we are. It's how we're wired. We need to be wired that way. The heroes are the ones who hold that in check the most and continue to push forward despite everything sort of almost pushing you to that. which is where Styles is, which is what makes it so interesting, because it would be so easy for him to become a villain by simply succumbing to that, because it gets him where he needs to go. And how much is it worth to him? Is it worth selling out for that? I mean, and you're going to get different answers depending on who you talk to about it. And to me, that's even more intriguing too. And also intriguing is the way it's all been built. That's what I said in the recap. They force Styles to make a decision, but they're forcing fans to make a decision on who you want to cheer for in all this.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone's kind of righteous, but everyone's kind of, there's shades of gray within it, right? Like, so Reigns is right for attacking dude because he hit his family, but his family provoked him. So I'm kind of not sure how I feel about that. Well, and then Styles is not doing what he needs to be doing, despite Reigns doing shit that you could argue was bad and wrong, so he could feasibly kind of get away with this, but he's also kind of accepting help, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. So no one is 100% in one direction, and no one is 100% in the other direction. They're kind of floating around on the middle, and normally I wouldn't go in for the tweener type stuff, if that's the term you want to use, the heel, babyface, traditional alignment. But they're fucking masterfully working this story to where we're all just in moral fucking conundrums all over the place, and everyone's in the middle of a moral dilemma, just trying to do the right thing for them, and they're fighting over the biggest title that we have in wrestling. This is fucking awesome. I don't think I have a post-WrestleMania low because they went right into this. I'm super satisfied. I'm super sports entertained.
Whoa. Big language.
I'm sports entertained at the live event.
Yeah. No, I agree. That is not part of your review that I disagree with.
You're right. Good stuff. So let's get out of here.
I mean, I don't want to see every feud be shades of gray, but I like a really good, because I think it's hard to do. I think, and this proves it. I mean, they have had to walk sort of a tightrope to get here, and they've nailed it. So props to WWE. But this is, I mean, the last one that I remember, I mean, the Neville, back when he still was Adrian, versus Sami Zayn feud before Kevin Owens debuted in NXT was like this, where they were both more kind of overtly babyface, I guess. But you could, and we had these debates where people were like, well, here's why I'm on Sammy's side, even though he's kind of being a dick, and here's why I'm on Neville's side, even though he's sort of cutting corners. And it's kind of the same thing, but it's a little bit more reality era, because they are definitely sort of leaning into the fact that, you know, the smarks are going to cheer AJ and the mainstream fans or whatever are going to cheer.
To their advantage,
right, exactly, which is what, which is the whole point of my Beyonce post, clickbait that it was, is that
one clickbait, fuck off.
When reality gives you some storyline fodder, fucking use it, and they're doing that. So props to them.
Yeah,
I just wish that there was a chance in hell that AJ might win.
And a lot of it does work because of how over these guys are. And this is the best example of what we talked about earlier with Becky and Emma, where everything, the creative is working and the characters are working, and it all comes together to form a really good story that I'm looking forward to the next show. I really am, because I can't wait to see what they do with it. I can't wait to see where they go. One aspect of it, one component of it that I literally couldn't give any less of a fuck about is Finn Balor and where he fits in.
But he's popping numbers for you. You just wanted to not show up so you can keep doing those easy ass posts that get numbers.
It's not. I could schedule those out for 8 years ahead of time. So it's awesome. And it's the same photo, and that's what someone said too. They're like, the real cliffhanger here is what photo Gino uses when he does show up. I have a plan for the copy that I'm going to use when he shows up, but I didn't even think about I'm going to have to change the photo. Because originally I was going to use a different photo for each one, and then Decker was like, I think it'd be funny if you use... Oh, fuck, I'm giving Decker some credit here. But
don't worry, you course-corrected and buried him right away, so that's good.
But
that
no,
was
he's like...
boysenberry, but yeah.
Yeah, you just use the same photo, and I was like, you know what, you're right. It's good. It's good symbolic. He's just hanging from a tree. Like, he's forever dangling from that fucking tree, and he's not coming down. He's not showing up.
That is good symbolic.
So I don't know what photo to use for when he finally does show up. Maybe a photo of him being sad as shit because I'm sad. Or maybe
that's what I was kind of figuring, that when he does show up, like, I'm going to have to swoop in there and do the post, because you're going to be fucking devastated because you'll have written it a day ahead of time, and now you have to change it.
No, it's fine. I mean, whatever.
You're going to be bummed.
It's funny because they're fans of his who hit me up and stuff all the time, you know. They're like, where is he? What the fuck's going on? Where's he at? Chief among them, McNarnia, who we talked about on the show before, and she clarified her name doesn't have to do with Narnia.
Oh, damn it.
Something like her last name sounds like it or whatever. But yeah, she always said, last night she hit me. I was like, where is he? She's got like friends and stuff, and they hit me up sometimes. is Finn Balor going to be here or not? We get people slide up in our DMs. Seriously, is he going to show up tonight?
Is it sexy when they do it?
Why do you think I know? Well, I mean, we're talking about Finn.
Well, they're your DMs. I mean, we all have access.
They're
to that
cage side
account,
DMs. They're open. You can slide.
I know. I don't even know how to use Twitter. So that's.
Well, I mean, it's anybody
how's
can
our,
DM us.
How's our Snapchat account going? That happen? Is that hopping?
Do we have a Snapchat?
I don't know. I thought
we've started an Instagram.
Yeah, how's the Instagram doing?
You tell me, motherfucker. I told you to post stuff.
I can't get it on I can't load it on my phone.
I posted the last thing we posted was a Eva photo with the women's title, the old one. And I think I just put deal with it. We lost like 6 followers straight away. And then, like, it's funny because we've gained and lost followers during a time where nothing's happened. It's been like 4 weeks since we touched it at all. I don't know how to use that service. I don't know what to put on there. We're gonna have to figure it out, I guess. But you got to plan ahead, Sean. In business, you got to plan for the future. You got to look 5 years ahead. Where's Cage Side going to be then? We're going to be. Is that
what Vince taught you? Is that why? Is that why you put me and Handstock in charge of like Wednesday nights to see if we slit each other's throats?
Essentially, figuratively speaking, I'd love to see you slit each other's throats. But maybe something good will happen. So go get it, guys.
Cool.
Well,
I don't know. I got nothing.
That was a bad segment, by the way. That happened, and we haven't talked about Stephanie. Stephanie came out. She's like, Shane, I like you.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a photo of you and Dad. And really, I'm manipulating you, and I hope you'll go along with it. And Shane's like, yeah, I think I will.
Thanks for the super photo. Cute in that dress, though.
Oh, of course. Steph always looks great. Did you see her?
No, but I feel like she's cuted up. She's not doing because she's trying to pretend she's a babyface. So she wore like the playful little party dress instead of like the black leather pants. I'm kind of over her character, but she is committed to all aspects.
So I learned something. My girlfriend doesn't like to let me see her when she's doing like a mask, a facial mask that women do. Mm-hmm. And I why? It doesn't matter. Like, whatever. You say, well,
that's because you guys are new in the relationship. Give it a couple years, and she'll be like wearing the mask and eating Cheetos and farting on your head.
Okay. Well, we're beyond the fart stage. But, yeah. So it's but still, it's like okay, if I get that, but I learned. I think I know why. And she said, I know I look weird, whatever, blah. Well, Steph did a thing on her Snapchat where she's like, I'm going to take you through the makeup process. Oh man, I clicked into that. And Stephanie McMahon's a beautiful woman, makeup or not. I'm certainly not trying to comment on someone's looks. But when she's halfway through the makeup process, she looked like a goddamn monster. She looked like Freddy Krueger. Ooh. And I'm not trying to say anything bad, but like maybe that's why it is. Maybe that's why. Does your wife let you, when she's doing makeup, is she like, Sean, get the fuck out of the bathroom? I'm busy right now. You don't need to see me like this. Or was it like that early on? I don't know.
I guess it was more like that early on. I don't, at this point, there's just sort of, I don't really go in the bathroom if she's in there. That's not like her jam. I mean, sometimes.
See, there you go. Exactly.
I mean, but like this morning, we had a conversation while she was taking a piss. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was standing right there.
I already do that. So it's not like a.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, so it just depends. I mean, I don't think there's a rule that I'm not supposed to go in the bathroom when she's doing makeup. I just stay out of the way because it makes my life easier.
I think maybe that's why, because it's halfway through and it's a scary sight. I'll tell you that.
I don't know.
Do you want to talk about?
No, what? Huh? No, nothing.
Did you want to talk about the thing that caused you to name this show this before we get off the air?
Oh, well, we could. I mean, you
were so excited about it.
It's the greatest thing ever. Well, we've already gone 70 minutes, so
it's the best thing that's ever occurred.
It is almost as good a comedy segment as Colin Cassidy is a future WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
He's the fucking future standard.
There is nothing that I don't love about Bray Wyatt's version of Who Bears.
Oh
everything
my
about
God.
it is magical. If you haven't watched it, go watch it right now.
As soon as I watched it, I thought, this man, leg injury and all, should be the World Heavyweight Champion because he's fucking hilarious. First of all, his voice. So him reading stories, he should do audiobooks. I would buy audiobooks with Bray Wyatt narrating. What did he say?
All I know is this entitled blonde bitch. she's got a wad of chewing tobacco in her mouth, and she's just rolling around the forest when she sees the Bears' luxurious mansion with the Cadillac in the driveway. Because Bears are classy. And she just goes in and she just starts eating porridge, and then she goes up and hops in the bed and smokes some cigarettes and has gas. I guess porridge gives you gas. I love
No,
that.
he said, what word did he use for it, dude? Bangs out a deuce.
She banged out a deuce and went upstairs. Yeah, he just slides that in. That's just
he's gently caressing Christian's face and laughs it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Edge and Christian are great in it too, but fucking Bray is wow.
Man, that show is so hit or miss, but when they hit,
that's what I'm saying.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you know that about half of it is going to be painful, and the other half is going to be fucking brilliant. It's weird, but
again, we're like we say that, but I mean, how many comedy shows did you watch and you laughed literally?
I mean, I wrote that in my thing where I did the CM Punk thing, because I knew that would be a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no comedy in the world that isn't hit or miss. Nobody laughs hysterically throughout a whole show.
So Sean didn't want to bury the lead, or he wanted to make sure you clicked with the promo headline. But go to the front page if you haven't yet. If you haven't seen it, CagesideSeats.com for anyone who's listening from iTunes. Go to CagesideSeats.com. Find Sean's post about Edge and Christian making fun of CM Punk. Within that post, like a little Easter egg.
Mm-hmm.
Is the most glorious Bray Wyatt video in the history of glorious Bray Wyatt videos.
It's probably worth its own breakout post too, but I just had to put it all in there together.
It would have been. You're an idiot for not doing that, but
I just wanted to get it out there with the world as quickly as possible, and
I think it's cool as an Easter egg.
The Punk thing. I mean, if the full headline to the thing says, Christian diss CM Punk and the greatest Bray Wyatt promo ever, but
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
And it certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was anything else from Raw that we need to get to, was there? I mean, we're not talking about Kevin Owens and the Intercontinental scene, I guess.
It's the same thing as it was the night before.
All these people you defended with such zest. Sami Zayn and Cesaro, and you don't even care enough to talk about them on your show. I
don't.
Do you understand what that means, Sean? Do you understand? Are you going to concede that point to me?
No.
If you don't care enough even to talk
about,
what do you
want? I mean, I enjoyed their wrestling. Kevin Owens was the best goddamn part about that opening segment.
Wrestling.
I was about to kill myself when the new era started with Shane and Stephanie exchanging fucking gifts, but then Kevin Owens came out and saved us all.
Dude, it was a booking meeting.
It was horrible. But
do you have ideas? I do have ideas. What about your ideas? Do you guys want to hear my ideas? Do you want to hear his ideas? There's ideas here. We need to figure out whose ideas are whose ideas and how we're going to disseminate those ideas and present those ideas for you in an entertaining idea fashion. Why don't you go fuck yourselves, both of you? And that's the right idea. I'm done with it, dude. I'm tired of it. Someone said, too, they were like, let it play out. Dude, are you serious? The one story you could tell me to let play out of all the stories is this isn't it.
The McMahon family drama. Even fucking Jim Ross and Lance Storm are shitting on this story. Everybody knows where this is going. It's not. It's lazy.
Triple H Shane?
Yeah.
God, another fucking Shane McMahon.
I'm telling you. And he'll jump off of something in Brooklyn. Brooklyn!
Just don't.
I don't know. You know what they should do? They should get Josh Matthews and the Pope to call it.